In the big cities, so many international students now, that means that wages have gone down. If you're in Sydney, you cannot realistically live on $10 an hour unless you work a lot of hours. But to pay your $200 rent, you're going to have to work 20 hours just to pay the rent. On top of that, you've got to live, you've got to travel, and you're going to have a good time. You're not going there not to have a good time. If you come to a smaller town, as I said, cost of living is definitely lower. Transport costs basically don't exist because in most small towns you can walk everywhere or you can buy a bicycle. We get a lot of students who buy a bike for $100 with a helmet and the lock. They use that bike for however long they're staying in a particular town. Then when they leave, they sell it for the same price. So you basically had free transport while you've been in the town. Job-wise, I'll give you the example of Noosa again, which is where our main school is. In Noosa, we have a population of about 45,000 people. Now, to give you an idea, a lot of the people who live in Noosa are people who've moved from Sydney and from Melbourne to retire. So they've made a lot of money in the city. In the 70s or the 80s, they bought a holiday home in Noosa, and now they're starting to retire and move into these holiday homes. So straight away, out of 45,000 people, half of the population, they don't want to work because they've just retired. You know, why go and work in a coffee shop? I don't want to. Their kids are pretty wealthy. They don't need to work because mummy and daddy have got a nice house and all they want to do is go surfing and have a nice time. So again, another big potential part of the labour market doesn't exist. So that means you've got a very limited number of people in town who are in a position to fill the vacancies in the tourism industry. So it means that you can come into a town where you're going to be able to find work, not instantly, but during the high season, definitely instantly you will find a job within a day or two of arriving in town. If you arrive in low season, our low tourism season is from June, July and August. That's the quiet time of year. But Noosa is still a year-round destination. Basically, the further north you go, the more chance you have of finding a job in June, July, August, which is the middle of our winter. If you arrive in September, October, job prospects are going to get better. If you arrive in November, December, much, much better. If you're there around Christmas, New Year, January, you can take your pick. You can probably find 2 or 3 different jobs if you really want to. So we find that that is a massive advantage. Also in terms of pay, you're going to be earning a little more. It's supply and demand. You know, if you can't find staff, you're going to offer higher wages. So financially, it makes a lot of sense. Culturally also, it makes a lot of sense because you're going to be meeting more Australian people. If you're in Sydney, you're in Melbourne, you're going to be hanging out in backpacker places, cafes, bars. You're going to meet other foreigners. Now, the idea of going to Australia partly is to get to know locals. And they're friendly people. They're a nice bunch. You're going to make some really good friends. You're going to have some lifelong friendships. And if you're in the big cities just hanging out with other foreigners, that's not going to happen. So it's great to get on the bus, get on the train, get out there and see the real Australia. I'm not saying don't go to the big cities because, as I say, they're great cities and you really want to spend some time there. But, you know, it's a balance between maximizing your earning potential, maximizing your cultural interaction, and also your quality of life. You know, you can get out there. A lot of people that I know in Noosa, they get up in the morning, they go for a surf at the beach, they come back, they have a coffee, they go to work in the afternoon, in the evening they go out for a couple of drinks, and it's a nice lifestyle. So you've got that potential. And also, you know, you get a lot of people who just work their way up and down the coast, all the way around the coast, start off maybe at the top near Cairns and work their way down. That's a really good way to see the country as well. So there are many, many possibilities out there. It's just a question of your mindset and saying, you know, do I want to start in a big city or do I want to go out there and explore more of what Australia has to offer? And bear in mind, you've got a year, it's a long time. So, you know, the first month investing in a small town, I say it's a great investment. So please think very, very carefully about it. You've had lots of advice yesterday, and I'm sure you're going to get lots more useful advice today. So I hope that's helpful. That's pretty much everything I wanted to say. Just really a bit of an overview of it from an Australian perspective. But obviously you've probably got lots and lots of questions. So please feel free to ask them, either in English or in German. And if you say it in German I don't understand, I'm sure Sabina and Sebastian can help me to understand what you're saying. Okay? Oh, one at the back, yeah.
Is it impossible to
It depends on the employer, to be honest. I mean, you might get occasional bits of work. I'll give you an example. At the moment, in Byron Bay, where one of our schools is, we're building up to the big music festival. There's a festival there called Blues Fest, and it's a great big music thing. It lasts all the Easter weekend, and it's about 3 days. And a lot of our students work there just during the festival for about 3-4 days. So if you can follow events like that, you'll be able to find jobs. And the music festival's great because you get free ticket as well to go in and listen to the music, and you got like Jack Johnson and Crowded House and lots of really cool bands.
House.
Yeah, I mean Noosa has a music festival. It has the triathlon is really big. All of these events need staff, and most of our students get jobs. I mean, we've got the Jazz Festival in Noosa soon, and probably about 20 of our students are all working at the Jazz Festival. You know, taking tickets, serving drinks, that sort of thing, and they always get a free ticket for the show as well. So it's kind of cool.
Stagehands helping.
Exactly, all that sort of stuff. So it's really good to be aware of what's going on around Australia. So get onto the web, do a search for the town that you're going to. Let's say you're going to Byron Bay. Have a look on the web, search Byron Bay events. And most towns around Australia have got their own little local website anyway, with really good local information. Another thing that we always say to our students as well is talk to each other, talk to other people, anybody you meet. Because we get a lot of students who pass their jobs on to other students. In Noosa, there's a big bar called The Reef. It's right up at the top of the hill. I think we probably had a look at it.
Yeah, yes.
It's a big bar. It's got about 3 different bars. It's got 2 restaurants. It's got a gaming room. It's got everything. And all of our students from Brazil all work in this one bar. And that's because, first of all, one Brazilian guy got a job there. Then he got his friend a job. Then he's got his friend's a job. And now there's about 12 or 15 Brazilians. We're all working there. One leaves, another one arrives. If you're just traveling, you can do that through backpacker hostels, through bars, places that you hang out, coffee shops and so on. But if you're actually part of a school community to begin with, you get a lot of infrastructure and support that you wouldn't get if you're out on your own. So it's probably something to bear in mind. Yeah.
Is it a problem if I don't have that much experience in a job field, for example, working at a restaurant and stuff?
Look, as long as you speak reasonable level of English, you present yourself well, you come across as serious, most people will take a chance and they'll say yeah. If you turn up and you're like, oh yeah, whatever, English isn't very good, people won't take you as seriously. But I think if you come in, you present yourself well, you're going to be fine. I mean, it does help if you've got experience, but it's not absolutely necessary, especially at busy times of year. If it's off season, if it's quiet time of year, and you go for a job and somebody else goes for it who's got a lot of experience, they might just have a slight advantage. But I think the thing to be when you're looking for jobs as well is to be very open-minded and don't fix your mind on one particular kind of job. Don't say, okay, I only want to be a receptionist in a hotel, because that's not that realistic. You've got to say, first job, take whatever you can get. Doesn't matter if it's bad, it's only for a few weeks. What you find is once you've got a job, it's much easier to get another job. And also once you've got a job, people start talking as well, you know. And within organisations, sometimes there are possibilities of getting a better job. So you start as washing dishes, they see that you work hard, maybe then you're going to be a waiter or a barman. You know, it does help. So as long as you're serious, you're reliable, you turn up on time, and you know, you do a reasonable job, your possibilities are very, very good. So yeah. So I wouldn't worry too much about not having a lot of experience as a waiter. Okay?
Thank you very much, Martin.
Pleasure, thank you. Have a great time in Australia. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful experience. And if you're in any of our locations, drop by and say hi. We'd be happy to see you. Vielen Dank. Cheers.